man. Alright. Sorry, a little feed came across the top. I was like, what was that? I still don't know what that is. Alright, where am I? Where am I? Timestamp, March 12th, 2026. Almost 7 a.m. I've been up for probably about 20 minutes. Did the pet parade. Fed, watered the animals. Another day on the farm. Trying to catch my breath. Yeah. Woke up on shore leave. It's a fun episode. It's just fun. That's one episode where I think Kirk's a little slow on the uptake, but maybe it's just me. Making sure I didn't have offspring coming in. I've got a bubble wrap sheet over the control panel for the Gauntlet machine because the cats don't necessarily like messing with it, and I don't want cats up there clawing up the base decal. That would anger me a lot. Don't mess up my Gauntlet machine. It's already got a power issue or something. I got to get somebody out here to take a look at it. Don't do that. Let me get it fixed. Don't mess it up. True story. Let me get some coffee. I'm pretty sure it was made by Alex. So I'm filled with a little bit of a feeling of dread here. Hopefully rules were followed. Because I would actually like coffee and not a potion. Tiny, now we're pulling things out of the pantry. I need to watch some videos on red onions because I got this going on. I was going to cut them up for dinner about a week ago, and I saw that they were sprouting. This is the other topic we're going to discuss. Being drawn to that. I wonder if that's symbolic. But they were sprouting, and we do want to do some gardening. I think on the other side of the pool, especially once we have the lanai more secure, might be really good as like a sort of an indoor greenhouse-ish, I've grown some plants before. I've never done onions, so a couple of gardening websites that I look at for some tips and tricks and all that. So I don't do that. Please do real coffee. But yeah, I was going to cut them up for dinner, and I saw that they were sprouting like that. I'm like, no, you want to grow. Let's see if we can use you guys as my starters. I don't know. Yeah, I went to bed. I think Conscience of the King was on. There are several, I think 4 Star Trek Original Series episodes where the titles are Shakespearean quotes or phrases. Conscience of the king, dagger of the mind. It's a thing. But yeah, I woke up to shore leave, and I do feel like Kirk was being a little slow on the uptake there. I feel like, Spock was right on his game, but Kirk was like, yeah, I know he was getting distracted by Finnegan, but just the sheer impossibility of Finnegan being there and still being 20 years old and all that, and the fact that he was thinking about the academy, and, it's like, come on, you're way smarter than this. You may not have been where Spock was, but you shouldn't have been like, wait, yeah, I was. How strange, Come on, Jim. This James Kirk's got a little bit of a con man in him. And if you don't believe me, look up Fizbin. Anyway. I love that scene. Spock almost ruins his con. When you're trying to lie to somebody, and the person with you starts basically saying, I don't know what you're... And you have to go, Spock, Spock, Spock. To kind of get them on the same page. It's frustrating. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Got somebody on eBay that's trying to really lowball me on offers. There are 3 Scooby-Doo figure listings that apparently they want. But like one of them I have up for $20 and they're like, will you take 7? I don't know about you, but that's just kind of, it's bordering on offensive, Got a $15 lot, he offered me 5. It's like, ask him for a couple bucks off or something like that. I'll usually do it. If you offer me 10 for 15, I'm going to counter to 12. Likely. You know what? I'll take 12. But you start off the conversation by offering me 5. Like a 66% discount? No. It's just a rude way to start a conversation, I know you're asking $100, but I was wondering if you'd take $23.50. No, I won't actually. Wait, $123.50? Yeah, I'll do that, sure. And I appreciate the gratuity. Come on. So, 3 different Scooby-Doo listings, and he's doing that with me. And it's just like, just stop, man. Please, dear God, stop it. I want to try the coffee, and at the same time, I'm like dreading it. Okay. Butterscotch caramel? Maybe the butterscotch caramel. Maybe. If he got creative against my wishes, he actually got something right there, though. Which he does sometimes. But lately it's been like half and half. And the half that isn't. And, no. Nope. Paprika and nutmeg, Nope. So, Progresso soup. I've got 30 plus cans over there. Now, Punchline, there were 60 cans. Okay, this goes back to 2023. And when I was cooking for my parents, my mom was like, try and keep me eating what I should be eating. Make sure Dad gets fed, because Dad's real meat and potatoes, picky, old school American cooking. If he's got a pork chop and mashed potatoes, great. And I started getting fancy, and he's like, what is this? What are we, in a French bistro? Seriously, exactly. So I gotta keep it looking like normal food, you know what I mean? So I'm looking over their pantry to see what all they've got, and they've been Armageddon. Oi! You want to know what's going on there? They've been Armageddon prepping badly. When people like almost panic buy for Armageddon, So I see like 60 cans of Progresso soup. It's like, alright, well, let's use some of this up. And I showed Mom. And Mom was like, brought in a can. I'm like, you got a bunch of this. I was thinking about using some of these. Because you guys want to kind of keep it like meat, potato, soup. Like diner, simple for lunches and stuff. And she's like, oh, we don't like those soups. Well, I don't like those soups. I was like, why don't you like them? She's like, they're just very bland. Now, Progresso, a lot of their stuff is like low sodium or no sodium. And it took me a minute. So I'm like, okay, so you don't like these soups? And she's like, no, we don't. I don't like them. They're boring. They're bland. And they're boring. They're not boring. There's some crazy chicken cheese enchilada. Yeah, I mean, there's like some crazy flavors over here. There's no reason for them to be boring. But I've been watching her eating habits for a little while. Now, bear in mind, she's got COPD, heart condition. She's AFib. Renal stage 4. Her kidneys are crying for help, and she's diabetic. Those are just kind of the big 4. There's other little things going on too, but those are the big 4. And any one of these 4, much like too much love, as far as Freddie Mercury is concerned, can kill you. So I figure it out, because I'm smart. Because she'll, no matter what food she's got, already seasoned, not sweet stuff, mind you. She doesn't do this, didn't do this, but salt shaker, and then she'll put some in her hand, and she'll do this, and then do this over her plate. And it's like, okay, the little pinch of salt thing gets wasted when you do this, because you just took everything that you put in your hand and spread it on your plate. If people are really watching you, and people aren't stupid, they can see that you just shook salt and then went with some more. So I made the salt shaker disappear. It wasn't on the table anymore. What happened? I didn't, when I was asked about it, I'm like, Mom, you're not supposed to have salt. Very frustrated by that. I'm like, look, I'm going to make your food, and it'll have enough spice in it to where, I'll add salt. Never added salt. And I'll add all the stuff that you can have, whatnot. Okay. So the Progresso soup, we don't like it. Which means she doesn't like it. Because, again, most of that stuff, there are some adventurous flavors, but Nothing wacky. You know what I mean? Walk with me. Because I'm going to start using these up, because a lot of these, their Best Buy date was like late 25, so, or mid 25. They're probably still good. We'll check them, make sure that we're not about to poison ourselves. But like chicken barley. Okay. These are the ones that I didn't use. Oh yes, there's a story here. Macaroni and bean, chicken and orzo with lemon, green split pea, garden vegetable, chicken noodle. Well, that's a pretty out there one. No American knows what that is. Yeah, chicken cheese enchilada, 3 cheese tortellini. Oh. Beef pot roast with country vegetables. So this is more than just, and there were others. You know, this is more than just tomato, chicken noodle, cream of mushroom, you know. Which cream of mushroom would have been a bust anyway, because, oh my God, Dad hates mushrooms. Hates it. Any recipe for Dad, I remember this growing up. Everybody else loves mushrooms. My dad hates them. But any recipe that called for like cream mushroom soup or whatnot, cream of chicken, cream of celery, you know, something else had to get subbed. Remember that as a kid. So I'm looking at all these soups, and I'm like, okay. You don't like them. There are 60 of them on the shelf. It was like 62 or 63 of them. I counted them up because I was like trying to get an inventory on, you know, now the butler. So, I carried this guy with me as my own personal joke to myself. That's a Haunted Mansion butler. He stays on my desk. That's Worthington. Like you got 60 cans of something you don't like. In the words of Buffy Summers, spleeny? It's like they were on sale. Okay. So, you bought 60 of something that you don't like, and you knew going into it that you didn't like them, but you bought 60 of them, more than, because they were on sale. And she was like, yes. Okay. Okay. Now bear in mind, having run a shop, there were lots of times that I, you know, ordered product for my shop that I didn't personally care about. Comic books I didn't read, you know, action figures for a video game series that I didn't play. You know, we got in some like Assassin's Creed figures. Never played the game. Sold the heck out of the action figures. The kids loved it. Cool. Never played it. You know. Still wish we had Silent Hill figures. That would be a hoot. You know. That'd be swell. You know, there are things that I do and things that I don't. But I stocked it, you know, even if it wasn't something that I did. Since my parents aren't running a shop and it was on their pantry shelf, and reselling canned soup seems like an unusual thing to try and do for, you know, a retired couple. I'm still very confused to this day as to why they were on sale was the reason to buy more than 60. But, okay, fine. At a certain point, you don't ask anymore, And now I'm kind of wondering if it was a cognitive decline, impulsy thing that they did. Oh, these are on sale, we should get them, Common sense not really sinking in of, we don't like this, but we should acquire it, I don't even know. I'm just spitballing right now. So I've got 60 plus cans of soup in the pantry that my mom is implying she does not want to eat, that she does not like them. And in the back of my head, I said, challenge accepted. Because through the course of the conversation, I figured out low sodium, no sodium. You don't like them because they're bland, because they don't have 8 pounds of salt in each one. Okay. So, and I told Pix I was going to do this. I'm like, she's going to eat some motherfucking Progresso soup. Yes, she is. And it's low sodium, no sodium. It's made for you. This is a product that technically, and I've had Progresso soup before, it can be a little mild on the spice, a little bland. But from a cooking standpoint, that also makes it a great foundation, a great base to build from. And you don't have to use salt, people. So I told Pix, I'm like, she's going to eat some Progresso soup. And my girl, I love her, she was like, you think you can get away with this? It's weird, we're like, we didn't break in and steal from my parents. Our biggest scam was me trying to trick my mom into eating Progresso soup. That was my heist. But I'm like, yeah, I think I can. I mean, I've worked with it once or twice before. I don't really prefer it myself because it is kind of bland. She's right. But I'm going to do it without salt. Because, Al Gore invented many other spices other than just salt. And she's like, okay, good luck, cowboy. Good luck. So, and I was picking soups where they had 2 cans of the same flavor, or really, really close to the same flavor. Like chicken and rice and creamed chicken. I can kind of mash that up and make it work. You know what I mean? And just make it a creamy chicken soup with rice and veg in it. Because I'd cut up some fresh veg and put that in there too and really build up the stock a little bit. And I'd spice it accordingly without salt. Because, you got garlic, you got oregano, basil, parsley. There's a lot to work with here, folks. And I was even buying some spices because their spice rack was dismal. So I got to my 4th set of soup, and I, waited on them. I was basically their waiter for lunch. I'd hang out in the kitchen, and I'd usually make a little bit for me and a little bit for Pix, whatnot. And we'd eat at the bar or on the counter or by the stove. My parents would sit at the table and eat, And I was their waiter. On the 4th occasion, got to 4. Because I'm putting the empty cans of soup in the trash can and making sure there's something on top of it. On the 4th time. And I'm enjoying my soup too because I'm good at what I do. She calls me over. It's very much like a restaurant at this point. She's like, Mark. And I come over. I'm like, yes, ma'am. She's like, this soup. And I'm thinking, oh, dear. She's like, it's really good. This soup is really good. this is some of the best soup that I've had in a while. I mean, the other things you've made for us have been really, have been good, at least good. This is really good. And in the back of my head, I'm like, uh-oh. Okay. And I'm like, glad you liked it. Dad, you like it okay? That's high praise. Cool, we'll take it. And then she asked, what is it? And again, oh dear. I'm thinking, okay. You have called. We must now show cards. So I kind of dug it out of the trash can. It wasn't like buried. I didn't like, oh, but kind of like. I don't even remember what flavor it was. Shame on me, because this was a landmark moment. And I was like, I had 2 cans of this in the pantry, because I'm playing as dumb as I have ever played in my life, which is competitive. This is a David Letterman top 10 list kind of thing. And she looks at the can, and she's like, I normally don't like those. I mean, the cards are out. And I was like, you got a whole bunch of them. Oh, that's right. That's right, you did tell me you didn't like these. I wasn't even thinking about it. You had a whole bunch in the pantry, and I'm like, I need a soup for today, and I grabbed these too. I'm not admitting to the other 3 at this moment. We're leaving that out. And she's like, huh. I'm like, yeah, but you like it. She's like, this is really good. I'm like, well, I mean, I didn't use it as is. I added stuff to it. Because, I mean, I've worked with the soup before, Progresso at least, and it's normally kind of bland. But, I mean, I know how to, use seasonings correctly and all that. And she's like, okay. This is really good, though. I'm like, hey, I'm good at what I do. She's like, yes, you are. So I walk away, and I can feel the cold sweat. I can feel it. Okay, that's not cold sweat. That was a different feeling altogether. But yeah, no, I'm like, I'm going to put this back in the trash can and reject the urge to bronze that can and put it on a plaque or something. And I continue eating, and they continue eating. And then she asks me, have we had any of the Progresso soups before? She's fishing now. And I'm like, I think you might have once or twice at this point. Because I've been, using stuff from the pantry. And I might have. I'm honestly not sure. Yeah, I think maybe once or twice. She's like, I didn't even notice. I'm like, I didn't even think about it. She's like, huh. And I told Pix, and I gave her the exact same story, and she's like, okay, so you got busted because she really liked it and wanted to know what it was? I'm like, yeah. She's like, you fucking scoundrel. Like, this guy. So, over the next month, they had Progresso soup 2 more times. I actually got to 6 pairs total, which, that's a hard poker hand to come up with, 6 pairs. But yeah, I got to my 6th pair before, we broke in, robbed the safe, took my dad's pew that was still in his pocket when we got confronted about having broken in and stolen it. That part's still very confusing for me. You took your dad's handgun, the one that's in his pocket? Dad, you got the silver gun in your pocket? Yeah, it's right here. So I took that gun. The gun that he has right now, I stole that. I need you to do the math right now, Mom, because the words coming out of your mouth do not make sense when compared with reality. You know what I mean? Like someone pulls up in their car and says, "You stole my car." What's that? What's my car? But you took it. Did I give it back? No. Then what is that? You know what I mean? It's like, you got hit in the head pretty hard, didn't you, son? So yeah, Progresso soup. And I told Tiny the story last night because going through the pantry, like trying to use up all the old stuff, start pulling it out, and the story came up, and so we don't have to fool anybody this time by making good food. But we're gonna try and blitz through this. Do a lot of like potato dishes and rice dishes where the soup can go over. Tiny hates soup as soup. But if you use soup on rice and I'm willing to accommodate people, you know, but like soup as like a potato stuff or something like that, you know, that kind of stuff can work. Or if the soup is so thick that it's really a stew. Stews are okay. Soups, no. It's like flavored water with stuff in it. Which, yeah, that's more often than not what soup is, really, right? It's flavored water with stuff in it. But, yeah. Got to 4 without being caught. And even then I got a pass because it was damn good. But yeah, we're gonna blitz through that because the Best By dates are all, check them carefully. This is something you should do anyway. If you're using something that's past the Best By date, check it. There's a website called Still Tasty. I know it sounds goofy. It always makes me have a Resident Evil flashback, the whole itchy, scratchy, tasty. If you know, you know. But yeah, stilltasty.com. And they give you pointers on what to eat and what not to eat. This will kill you. This will not. You know. So we're going to be utilizing that and just use them. Because there's actually some, I read off some of the labels. Some of them are, okay, sounds like a fun, let's make something from this challenge, you know. I would have gotten through all the cans if it hadn't been for those meddling kids. And that talking dog. The soup is really good. Oh dear. Really? You like it? Shit. You're gonna ask me what it is, aren't you? What is it? Damn it, I knew it. Well, I completely forgot that you said you hated this. What was I thinking? And I made stuffed mushrooms for Dad. What the hell? I never even tried to trick Dad into eating mushrooms. I didn't want to risk it. There's a lot of good nutritional stuff in mushrooms, but I didn't want to tempt the fates there. Nope. Nope. Horrible idea. Don't do it. Because if he catches on to it, he's going to throw a fit. And even before I noticed the dementia going on, man, he'll raise hell. You try and sneak mushrooms into his food. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Once upon a time was a pretty mild-mannered guy, but that mushrooms hates him. Hates him. Anyway. Not yet, I haven't. I've been working over my list. I crossed a bunch of stuff off from yesterday. Yeah, this guy. Um, Making great progress in the garage. Might even be breaking down a table today, which that's going to be a task. Because my dad did build them tough, but they're just not, we don't need them. They're obsolete, they're in the way. Nope. We'll repurpose the wood. He's still thinking 20 years ago when he was like, this is the plan. And it would work if you guys were younger and, could not be out of breath, especially mom, 20 feet later. So, that's not an issue now. Now it's my bucket. Yay! Oh. Alright. So, hug your parents, make meat soup they don't like. Mostly kidding on that. Then I got to 6. And she didn't ask. She didn't ask anymore. It was just kind of, soup's good. I know. So yeah, hug your parents. Because you don't know how long you got them. Hug your kids. Because you don't know how long you're going to have them either. Because they move out at some point. Usually. Unless you got a really good basement with Wi-Fi. Then maybe not. Ooh, is that Warcraft? Kidding. Make it a great day.